By the end of this video, you're going to understand why the Funded Traders Club is going to be the best prop firm out there in 2024. You're going to learn exactly how all of these traders have been able to not just get funded, but stay funded. They're not doing a yo-yo dance. They're keeping their capital. You can see all of our certificates, our community supporting each other. There's a reason why they're not getting their accounts the next month, losing it the next day. So if 2023 is anything to go off of, you need to make sure that you are more prepared than ever before. Otherwise, you're just going to be part of another statistic. And you're probably wondering, how are we going to achieve this next year when you consider all of the competition that is out there? Well, in order for you to understand that, you've got to look at our holistic approach, which you're going to learn by the end of this video. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Falcon FX Blueprint. What I'm going to demonstrate to you is how robust the Falcon system really is. You can compete where you have an advantage. Your advantage is understanding the characteristics of price. We're not here to trade home runs or one-hit wonders. We're looking for repetitive market behavior for consistent results. Skill set to trade through any environment possible. How the PSC model plays such a vital role. Ongoing metrics of you backtesting yourself. A certain amount of your income to your personal account. As you're scaling up, you're also building your personal capital as well. 46k a month. Success is simple, data driven. You have everything in place. You will never need another system again. We recently launched Falcon Mechanics. We've essentially made our strategy more mechanical than ever before. So there's never been an easier way to learn how to trade the Falcon system. What we've essentially done is taken a data-driven pathway. As you can see here on my screen, this is the new mechanical approach. So all of our top traders have gone through this pathway to trade successfully, either on our fund or separate capital. And we've essentially taken all of that and put it into our brand new all-in-one course. So it's never been easier to navigate your way through the Falcon understanding of how we trade. So you're going to learn everything about this. You can see all of the lessons here. Every single thing is layered on each one. So by the end of you going through the mechanics, you're going to understand exactly how we trade at the highest level. Prop firm drama. I'm sure you've seen it all, especially in 2023 with my Forex funds and everything that came with that. People losing their accounts. Unfortunately, if you was on the wrong end of that, I really do feel for you. Twitter doesn't help with that. Twitter has essentially just become Facebook in disguise. Really, really strange. However, we've got to recap what has happened. Well, people losing their capital, people thinking that they're seven-figure traders when it's just simulated capital. Never in history have we had traders that would go from essentially zero to having seven figures in capital just from passing loads of challenges to then being a seven-figure trader, but within a couple of months, losing all of it and being a zero-figure trader. Really, really bizarre. And what that does is to people's mental health and their mindset as a whole. We've not seen the effects of it just yet. You've seen the start of the effects, but what it's done is it's given people a false sense of what it actually is to be a seven-figure trader and have seven figures of capital. Now, I'm not saying that you always have to just have seven figures of personal capital to call yourself that, but if you can just buy a whole bunch of challenges and you can pass and effectively be a seven-figure trader, it's not the same thing. And throughout all of 2023, you can see the shift in people changing their rules, slippages, all kinds of different things that people are just complaining about. And I've definitely seen a huge negative light on prop firms as a whole. You have to understand their model. And the reason why I said that Twitter has just become Facebook in disguise, because Facebook is usually a place where people write statuses and they just complain and moan. Twitter has become exactly the same thing. But on prop firms, bearing in mind, if people didn't have prop firms, they would be working a 9 to 5 and they wouldn't even be in that position to get the capital. So just be careful what you wish for when you're constantly moaning about these rules have changed and I got slipped here and this. It's given you the actual pathway to be able to quit your job or make some money. So don't bite the hand that feeds you. Yes, it's not always going to go your way, but you have to understand it's a cost of business. So you can't just keep complaining at the very thing that's helping you get there. So I don't like how that's become, right, let's demonize prop firms as much as possible. Don't get me wrong, I have my own in-house fund. It's set up very different. However, it's a huge stepping stone for you. Gamification of prop firms. The last point in 2023 that I've seen a trend that I personally don't think is helpful for the masses. It's really crucial that when we look at trading at any endeavor, we have to see what is good for the masses versus the anomalies. So exceptions don't define the rule. So what you'll have is specific traders that are really good at gamifying certain things of prop firms. What happens is that if you're following someone of influence, you try to replicate the same thing, in which that you can't. So then what we see is so many people, 5K, 15, 20,000 pounds down in paying for these challenges and not a single payout. Very, very small percentage of chance that you'll get paid out in the first place. So then what we do is that we take these anomalies or these niche individuals that have found a way, and props to them to do that, right? However, it's not good for the masses. The masses can't do that, they can't replicate it, which is why they literally waste their life savings in trying to replicate the same thing. And the gamification side of things, I think it's lost the reality of what trading is. It's created more of this gamblish type of mentality in the first place, which is not healthy for most traders. We actually want to move away from that as much as possible. So then what happens? You get very, very comfortable losing your capital. You get very comfortable if things start to not go your way, you just think, well, I just risk more anyway because I'll just reset, I'll buy another challenge. And it doesn't help you deal with the fundamentals of working on your mentality, treating it like a business, being a professional. The thing is, trading as a whole, you can't be professional at every single level, but when you lose all of it and you just see this as one big game, you've got to ask yourself, how do you actually intend to sustain any of it? How do you actually build a long-term sustainable career as a trader if you're always gamifying it and one minute you've got 600K of capital, next month you have nothing, and you just think, well, I'll just do it again. But think about it. Would you actually want to build your long-term trading career, build a lifestyle, have a family, whatever your goals are? Do you really think you could do it with this sort of behavior? I don't think you can. But if you want to fail and your goal is to fail in 2024, do this. Keep gamifying it. Keep spending money on prop firms even when you've not worked on your mindset. Keep trying to over risk, right? And just try and pass the challenge as quick as possible. Spend all of your time on Twitter and don't do anything productive. Have no goals, have no objectives. Complain about prop firms more as all different changes. Think about it. Next year, what do you think is going to happen to prop firms? There's going to be new ones that are introduced. They have to become more and more creative. And don't get me wrong, even for our own students, I don't advocate for our students to not use prop firms. Our students use them. They just don't prioritize them versus our in-house fund. And you're going to learn about that in just a second. But if you want to repeat the same year that you've got, then just do the same thing over and over again. Or you could make some big changes, and those changes I'm about to explain to you. The Funded Traders Club, what is it? Well, this is something new that we've introduced, but remember, we've had experience for 2 years as running our own in-house fund. So we know the stats, we see the behavior. You can see here on my screen, this is the Funded Traders Club. The snapshot that you're seeing right now is our wealth creation mastermind. So this is our first ever official Funded Traders Club meet. These are our successful traders. We actually set out to do this at the beginning of the year. I literally said it, this is what we're gonna do. And we got our heads down, treated it like a business, and didn't entertain the noise. The reason why I'm explaining this to you is that if you go down the same path, in another year, you'll just be another statistic, right? You can still utilize prop firms, but it's more of the mentality approach that I want you to change, because they're a great stepping stone. You can build up a lot of capital, but you need to have the financial literacy. The reason why I believe within our Funded Traders Club, before I tell you about the holistic approach, the reason why when I alluded to those certificates earlier, that it's not uncommon for traders within our system to have their account over a year to get paid out. There's a reason why they're able to do that. It's because at every process we teach them financial literacy. We're not encouraging the gamification of just keep blowing accounts and just keep going and going, because it's not good on your psyche. And I'll explain that at a later video. They've got things in place, goals, ambitions. They actually know how much money they need to quit their job. Like, what are the metrics? What account size do they need to actually be trading to make that a reality? What milestones that they need to hit to then reward themselves? Essentially, they've got a crystal clear plan on how to do it. Think about the industry over the last 3 years. Wouldn't you all agree that there is more information on how to trade the markets than ever before? Yeah, it doesn't matter what strategy you trade, whether it's SMC, etc. 90% of traders will still lose. If you look at prop firm statistics, why is it that after someone will have a record payout, they'll make 20K withdrawal, 30 days later they'll lose their account and reset? Like, think about that. Do you want to be a 7-figure trader of capital, and then just because you hit an unfortunate sequence of drawdown, you're on zero again? What makes us different? Well, we are in-house, so it's tailor-made. I can look at the trader, so I can go, right, I can pick out anyone in this screenshot right here. I can see, because we know them personally, if they go through an unfortunate sequence of drawdown. Let's say they've got 800K of capital, they've upgraded their lifestyle, they've got a new car, maybe they've moved out. They're essentially now relying as a full-time trader on this income. But for whatever reason, they just hit the drawdown limit. I can look at the trades individual, I know the character personally, and say, right, this is a little bit out of character for you. There's nothing reckless that you've done here. You just was really unfortunate, which could happen to the best of traders. You just went through a really bad patch of drawdown. You had 800K. I'm not going to let you start at zero again. We're going to reinstate, maybe not at the full 800K depending on the individual, but we'll reinstate you at 250, right? So you're now not starting from zero thinking, I'm stressed, I've got all these problems, I've upgraded my lifestyle, I'm reliant on this capital and I need that capital to make money. How much is that worth to you? That's the question you've got to ask yourself. So that to me is that's why I believe we will be different, because we're not set up in the same way. I'm not looking to get 10,000 assessments, right, and balance the probabilities. Most people will lose, so we make money. We're not set up in that way, so we won't operate that way. So this is more about the human experience of wanting people to do well. We've got millions under allocation in 2023, which we knew we would achieve, and we're very proud of that. Well, our bigger goal, for you to understand, 2026, over the next 3 years, we're aiming towards the £100 million fund, right? Might take us 5 years, but I'm gonna go more ambitious and aggressive and say, look, we're gonna aim to do that within a 3-year period. I know by the end of 2024, we probably would have ticked away 25% of that goal. So the question you wanna ask yourself, do you want a slice of it or not? You can either watch us do it or you can be part of it. So essentially within the club, so you're probably wondering, right, so what is it? Is it just prop firm capital? No, it's much more than that. So there's exclusive masterminds that you'll get access to. There's exclusive support, financial literacy, so you can really treat this like a business. When you start to trade at bigger scale, you're gonna need things like accountants and people to be able to structure this at a better level. If you're just coming into trading and you've just used a free prop account, you're not gonna know what you're doing, right? And rightfully so. So you need that support network. Webinars, actual workshops where we discuss things like peak performance, accountability, keeping people on track. I believe that's why these traders, they don't go off of the rails. They're not reckless. I would be genuinely so shocked if I had a trader trading $250,000 and then suddenly they just blew their capital. I would be so shocked. I can trust our traders not to do that, because at every stage we coach them. This is how you are a professional. So within the Funded Traders Club, the exciting thing of our traders that they can aim towards is being part of the 6-figure section, then the 7-figure section. Now, as part of those levels, when you level up, there's going to be different opportunities that come your way. So when people hit 6 figures, it gives them access to certain experiences. Now, one of those is the in-house property fund. So for those of you that are interested in building passive income, you're interested in getting involved in the property market, well, then you're going to be able to do that. So you're essentially accessing a high network in your own space to be able to level up. So you know the circle around you, right? When I'm leveling up and I'm making more money, what do I then do with that money? This is the problem that most traders don't think about because they don't get to that level. But the reality is 2024 is a huge year for all of us to make a lot of money. Now, when you start making more money, what do? Do you just buy more fancier cars? Do you just buy more depreciating assets? And then when push comes to shove, you're in a bad situation, or do you plan for the future? So I've essentially figured all those things out. I already have it, so it's already set up. Right now, we can accept capital for people to create passive income. And we've got traders in a position to do so. It's a very exciting year. So essentially, think about the reason why I believe we're going to be the most successful is because we have our traders' best interest at heart, because we're not set up in the same way. Think about it like this. In 2024, who do you think's better off? Our traders with, let's say, 500K of capital on our in-house fund, and also doing exactly what you're doing and utilizing other prop firms, right? Understanding the cost of business, things can happen. Who do you think feels more secure when they've quit their job, upgraded their lifestyle? A trader who's got 500K with us and maybe another 500K or maybe more with external funds, or someone else who's just relying on these firms and you're just a number on the spreadsheet. And it's not because they're vindictive, it's not because they're evil, it's just the way that they're set up, and that is what it is. Where we've got all things in-house, we're extremely proud of that, and that's why I know we're going to build the most savage traders. A couple of years ago, people would laugh at us, they would mock us. And the reality is, all we've done is ignore the noise, stay level-headed, created a plan, executed on that plan, and now we have traders with hundreds of thousands of capital, whether it's on our in-house fund and separate capital and private investment. I've not even got to that. So the Funded Traders Club is all encompassing. And maybe in the future, we may open up a small section to people that are not trading our strategy to hedge the risk. We've actually already done that within Rewired. We've taken a small amount of people that trade different systems like ICT, like SMC, and given them the opportunity to actually complement the fund. If anything is to go off 2023, the shit show that happened in this space, get your clear objectives for next year. Do not just become part of the statistic. You don't want to be this time next year thinking, I spent all my time on Twitter, mucking around, gamifying everything, and I'm actually nowhere closer, and I've spent thousands on funded assessments and I've barely had a payout. You don't want that to be that person. So if you're someone who's wondering how you can be part of the Funded Traders Club, there's two simple ways. You're either a Falcon member and you've got an active subscription for 6 months. If you was in before the 28th, you will know that is 3 months, and then you can apply for the in-house fund. Or if you're a Rewired member, so you can work on your psychological framework, which you need, by the way. Right, psychology is a very important part that most people neglect, they miss for some reason, but the reality is you need to learn how to trade calmly under pressure, especially if you've got goals to trade a lot of capital. So you either do it two ways. Now, there's one caveat to that. If you are a competent trader and you're learning the ropes quickly, we will take that case by case because we're looking for the best traders. The reality is we want our fund to be the best fund in this space, and we're going to work as hard as possible to do so. So we're able to look at things on a holistic basis. It doesn't always have to be 6 months, but if someone's coming in very new, the last thing they should be thinking about is within a couple of months wanting to get funded when you don't know what you're doing yet. So there's a few avenues in which that you could take. And for those of you that really understand the bigger vision of what we're doing here, we would more than welcome you as we scale towards the 100 million fund.